You need a hot stretch to happen, and if you have to add to this ball club, the White Sox absolutely have to. Rick Hahn absolutely has to go out and do something to just put a shot in the arm of this team that's going to help them down the stretch. This is probably the most important White Sox deadline that I've ever lived through, in my personal opinion. The cupboard's somewhat sort of bare. You've got guys in the system like Colson Montgomery who've been on base 50 games in a row. Do you make a move to go do something crazy here at the deadline? I don't know, but the wish list is sort of long, and the availability of, guys that other teams want isn't quite as long as you need to go shore up all of those different things. It's going to be a very interesting deadline for the White Sox. I would hate to be in Rick Hahn's position right now because there's a lot of hard choices, especially with all the glaring needs. Steve, I'll turn it over to you.
Anthony, you nailed all of the key areas that I feel that this team needs to address when it comes to left-handed relief options in the bullpen. I do think it is imperative for them to get a starting pitcher, or at least a swing guy that you can, have start piggyback with Michael Kopech to help kind of take some of the load off of him in the second half. And I think in a lot of ways, if you could find somebody from the left side to be able to do that, I haven't really dug deep into who that potential option would be, but if you could get somebody to kind of fill or check off two of those boxes right there, that would be very beneficial for this team there. And I think having another left-handed bat in this lineup is really something that is imperative. Obviously, we talked earlier in the show about Yoán Moncada, and it looks as though he is starting to come out of the funk that he was in for the early part of his abbreviated season here. And we've talked about the ups and downs of Gavin Sheets and really the poor performance from Yasmani Grandal. So if you get Grandal and Moncada performing back to what we would expect from them, that certainly helps. But this team does still need more balance. They are still a bottom 10 team in the league when it comes to offensive production against right-handed pitching. That is something that has to be addressed, because if this team is able to get into the postseason, and if they want to make a legitimate run in trying to win the American League pennant, you still got to go through Justin Verlander in Houston. You got to go through that staff. You're going to have to go up against Garrett Cole and some of the other guys on the Yankees right there. So getting more left-handed is going to be pretty important. Again, if you can find a guy that maybe could fill in multiple different spots across the diamond, second base, corner outfield position, killing two birds with one stone would be ideal. They don't have a lot of depth in the system. It is extremely shallow right now. So this is going to be really challenging for Rick Hahn, Kenny Williams, and for the analytics staff and the scouting staff, which, and let's be honest with ourselves here, they don't have a particularly great track record. So the level of confidence that is there is not overwhelmingly high, but those are definitely the areas of need that this team is going to need to address here in the second half if they are going to make a serious run.